Hello. I might be a minute early. My name is Jackie McAllister. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. This is my very first live on Facebook, thanks to many who have joined and following the Coastal Inspirations with Jackie. So, just gonna refresh my screen here on my laptop and see if I can see anyone or how I can actually see myself and see comments. Okay, it says I'm live. Well, that's good, but how do I see these? Let's see. There it is. I guess I just open it. There we go. Okay, this is going to be a little strange for me. I am used to recording and then posting, and if you don't like the recording, of course, you just get to delete it. Strange for me. I am used to recording and then posting, and I had to turn the sound off my laptop because I can hear myself in a delay. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'm not sure who's going to be with me today, but this is awesome. I get to go live. I love it. I'm still getting over my cough since I went to Onstage, and I must have picked up a little virus on the way home, and I've been battling it now for 2 weeks, but I'm getting there. So I am going to figure out, how do I turn this around? I'm going to turn this around so you can see my desktop, and I'm going to show you a really quick card that's very clean, does not require any designer series paper. It's just cardstock, stamps, dies if you have them, which I'm sure most people do. And this is an inspiration that I took from Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter, and her live that she did this week. Just a little bit of a twist on it. So let me just flip you around here. Okay. And sorry, you're gonna see my, oh, look at that. You see my hand and everything. Okay, did I flip you around? Nope. There we go. Okay, I will get better at this. I'm sure it's just gonna take some time. And I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit. You're gonna see my mess here on my table. Seems to be kind of focusing in and out, but hopefully you can see. Okay, so I've got a couple of things here. I'm using the Delicate Whispers. What I do when I get these new bundles is I take the one envelope and I put both the stamps and the dies in together, and then I take the extra one of these and reuse it, converting my older products over by taping it. So this is an older one, and what I do is I put it on copy paper. I just fold over the spine. I have it down with adhesive, removable adhesive, and then I put it in the paper, and then I just stick it in. So now I've been converting all of my older sets over, and it's been working really well. Also, if you don't want to take your paper in and out because it'll get mangled over time, and if you want to keep it nice, just fold this to the inside, and then you can just slide it in and out, and you don't have to pull out the whole thing. And that's kind of what I do for these, is I just pull them in and out when I need it. I'm going to actually keep out the stamps. I don't need the dies because I've already used them. The other product I'm using, this is retired, but you can use any die that you have. This is the die that I'm going to use today. And it comes with this linked together bundle. So it's just from in here. But you can take even this small one. You can take, I think, the stylish, like any kind of shape, large shape die that you want, or even make it smaller. But I'm gonna use this. I like the size of it, and I'll show you. This is what I'm going to make. So this is the inspiration from Kate, we're using a scoreboard here to create this little dimension. If you can, I don't know if you can see that. Kind of put it up high. This card actually is using the new Peaceful Pine in color that's coming out, available to demonstrators now as a pre-order. To customers will be available in May. All 5 colors I absolutely love. They're also really pretty. This is the other color here that I used is Hydrangea Hue. So I'll put that aside. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over to whatever my bad side is, my downside. I've got a little bit of an edge here from cutting, so I'm going to flip that over, and this is where I'm going to use my die. I'm just putting it in the middle using my grid paper. I'm going to kind of move it a little closer to one side than the other, and I'm just lining up my points, the top and the bottom. So I'm using, because it's 4 inches, so this layer measures 4 by 5 1/4, so I know that it's going to be 2 inches on each side, so I can just line it up here, line it up at the top, and then I'm going to come around with my pencil and I'm going to mark it. So the difference with this is it's actually going to stay marked. I don't need to erase it because it's going to be on the back side, on the side that I'm going to glue down. Now I don't need that anymore. Put these away. Put that up there. And so I've had this scoreboard for probably just over a year, and this is like my 3rd time I'm using it, so this is kind of nice to use it. I'm just going to stick my scoreboard, I'm going to stick my paper up into the corner. I don't need any little markers. I already know where the center is. I think I got better results using the smaller end of the stylus. Just put it in the channel, and I know it's kind of hard to find the channel, but if you just mark it back and forth a little bit, you'll get that groove, and then you just come down. And same thing. To find that groove, I'm just kind of wiggling it back and forth, and then once I find it, I can go a little harder and pull it all the way down. And you can go over it twice if you really want, if you need to. Depends on how much pressure that you're putting. I tend to not put too much pressure on it because I want to make sure I'm in that channel first before I start to just apply pressure. And I'm not worried too much if I get right up close to the edge, because the side that's the wider side is where I'm going to lay the images. See, I can't find that one. There we go. I think, did I find it? Nope. I am going to, there we go. So this takes definitely a little bit of practice. I'm not, I'm not perfect. Who is? I don't know. But it definitely takes a little bit to get in there. I don't worry so much if you do go off a little bit. All you need to do is come around to the other side. If you do have any little spot that you went off, take your bone folder and just rub it. And that just removes, it flattens it back down. So I'm going to keep going here on this one, but I'm not going to do the whole thing. I've already got one prepared because I thought this might take up some time, and it is. You can see I just went off. So that's okay. If you go off a little bit, you don't really even see it from the other side. I don't know if you can kind of see that. But it's nice. It's raised. It's going to have a little design to it. What I would do is I would keep going on this one side, my tip, because now it's going to be really hard if I just keep going on this side, and then I'm using my finger kind of like I sculpt nails. So I do other crafts, and you always want to put your hand down to give yourself a little bit of some stability so that you can move in a straight line and that you can put pressure. And if you're doing that and you're going over it, if you don't start over here, if you started where I did in the middle and just keep going to the right, then just turn it around. And that's how I accomplished it. I just turned it around and then went down this side and straight out. I'm not gonna keep showing you my scoring because I'm sure you know how, and it would be really boring to continue to watch that scoring. So I'm gonna move on. This is my so this is what I completed. This is what it looks like on the other side. This is going to get attached to this layer here. And I liked to make this layer 1/8 of an inch. So this one then measures 5 3/4 by 4 1/8. And then card base, the card base is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 scored at, sorry, 8 1/2, yeah, 8 1/2, 5 1/2 scored at 4 1/4. Oh, sometimes it's a mouthful. So, and I'm a little nervous. Okay, I see that I've got a little edge right there, so I'm actually going to flip it over and make that my back side. So I've learned that from another seasoned crafter, that when you have them, when they're just slightly off, just make the longer piece to the front. And don't try and fix those little tiny bit of margins. Sometimes if it's really, you know, if it's a lot, then of course it will. But so I'm gonna place this down. Let me just glue this down. You can use a tape runner. I'm going to use glue. And the more glue just means you have more time to play with it to get it in the right spot. Something on there. There we go. Okay. And I'm just going to set that up. So I do something really probably strange. When I get it lined up in the corners, I pinch them with my fingers. So that way when I lay it down and do this, it's not actually going to move on me. Originally when I first started crafting just over a year ago, I wasn't doing that. And of course I was putting glue on, a good amount of glue. I'd put it down, and then I would do this, and then it would shift on me. And since I've pinched them, I seem to get away with it never shifting on me. No matter how much I press, it doesn't shift. I'm going to go ahead and put this layer down. And I want my wider side to the left because that's where my design is going to go. And that's why I shifted it to make up for the design, so you don't end up with it. You have more of a symmetrical design. On this one here, I didn't do that. So you see that it's the same width here as it is on this side. So I moved it over, and then you see less of this. It doesn't quite, it still looks okay, but it's not quite right. Not what I intended. Okay. So I have in this Delicate Whispers, I'm using this stamp here. And I love this stamp. So I've learned a new tip recently from a stamper, the Pampered Stamper, who went to on stage, I believe in Germany. And this is what she learned. If you apply your lifter, and you want to make sure that your ink is good and dry when you do that, otherwise you're going to get a little bit of a bleed. If you apply your lifter, it helps to disperse the blend. So I'm going to do one with and one without. This here is the light balmy blue. I'm just going around the outside. So I'm doing the whole thing. And another tip is when you're using this end, this can fray very easily. It's very fine, so try not to have it up and down. You want to try and make sure that you're using the side of it to keep that tip nice and clean. Okay, I'm not going to put the cap on yet because now we're going to go to the dark. These little buttons here, these little, these are meant for you to put your thumb on and push up so you don't ruin the ends when you pull these up. I'm just going to use this tip and kind of come around in little circles around the outside, the inside edge stem, so it looks like it's kind of, you know, blooming dark to light. Then I'm going to come back around and I'm going to come back over top and over top of that dark and into the light to make it like a dark medium light. So I'll do the same thing with this one, only I'm going to do it without, and see what the difference is without the lifter. I think that for this, because I've chose the Balmy Blue, I think it may look really similar, if not the same, as this one with the lifter, just because it's such a lighter color, but you might see it more with darker tones. Yeah, divvy up dark. And you don't have to press hard with these blenders. I love coloring. I just love these blenders. They do all the work. Okay. So the other colors that I used is I created these little baby ones. I've got 3 of those from that stamp there. And I used a light pecan and a dark pecan on the inside of the flower, and then on the leaves I did light old olive. And what I did for the light old olive to get the darker tone, I just came through, let it dry up, not too much, you know, you can do it right away. You just want to see the tone, so you need to kind of let it set up for a minute so you can start to see it. And then I came over it again, and that creates that medium shade. So that's how I got a lighter and then the darker without using the dark, because I found that when I was using, I kept using the light and the dark and then the light over top, and it was just darker than I wanted it to be. Really pretty shade, just darker than I wanted it to be. So these are kind of setting up. So this one here is the one that doesn't have, that has the lifter on it. This is the one that doesn't. You can see the bleed through is a little bit more on the one without the lifter, but I think this one looks like it's got more variation than this one here. That's just what I see. But they're both really, really pretty. So I'm going to just decorate the card. These dies are from the same pack. Let me find that. The Delicate Whispers. When you're using the Delicate Whispers, you get 2 of these, which is really nice. And when you stamp, you can see there's a little bit of a wider petal. And here there's a wider one, so that's how that goes, just over top of that wider one. You can definitely mark them if you want to mark them, mark on the stamp, mark on the die where it lines up, and then you'll always know. And these 2 are, I really like that when Stampin' Up! Does this, because we've got one that goes this way. Oops. All my little bits and pieces that I threw in the back. There we go. And this one that goes this way. They're not exact. So they're not the exact. They're a little bit different, but one that goes each way. So then I was able to take them and come around the design. Like so. Just create something that's kind of overlapping right here. I've got space here and some space over there. It's going to get covered, so it's going to look a little more aligned. Okay. Now I'm just going to put these little dots on. I find sometimes, you know, you want to try and get all the little bits, and it's hard. So if you just have one of these little fine tips, you can fill it. And oh, this little baby bottle I think holds a whole Tombow glue. This one is the from Stampin' Up, so it's not the extra large. It actually holds quite a bit, and then you can get those little fine dots. And this, I just got this empty bottle from Amazon, and it does come in a big pack, but I'm sure you can probably find where it's just got a couple. So I'm just going to turn this around. I'm going to kind of see where my top is. Let's put this one down. And if it's not holding right away, then we're just going to lay a stamp on top, or an acrylic block on top of it. That'll hold it down. Then I don't have to wait. It'll set up underneath that block without moving. Okay. So I haven't come up with an actual plan as to, you know, what days and times I'm going to go live. 6 o'clock is probably not going to be the time. It probably will be a little bit later, because I know 6 is a time where most people are either getting home from work or cooking, eating dinner. I happen to work from home, and I'm on a new project, and I'm trying to work around certain things right now. So some days I work a little bit later, and some days I don't. So I'm going to try and figure out what that schedule is going to be and come up with some consistency. Okay. And I love this. If I get a little bit of glue, wait till it sets up. Oops, I did not wait till that set up. Okay, like I said, I am not a perfect crafter. I'm going to snip that little bit because we don't need it. It's going to sit underneath anyway. I don't really want it to be too bulky. So, there. Get some little bits out of the way. Okay. Now I've got my flowers. I'm going to kind of sit around there. I think this is too long, so I'm just going to snip it down a bit. I'm going to add this. Yeah, kind of like it there. Snip this one. Again, they're not exactly, these dies aren't exactly the same length either, so it's kind of nice that you get a little bit of variety. I think I'm going to come down there with it. Yeah, I like that. Okay. If anyone is watching, say hi. Let me know. And always welcome. I always want to know what's everybody up to, and if you do actually make this card and either the same, you know, case it or change it up a bit, I'd love to see it. So post your creations. It's always good to see what everyone's working on, and it's how we share. How we connect and share. Okay, so I'm not going to put the little baby ones on yet. I'm just going to put some dimensionals. Sometimes I can go a little overboard with my dimensionals too. Pardon me. I think I want it like, yeah, right about there. A little peek out there. And sometimes I forget when I'm putting a dimensional on if I'm going to overlap, right? You don't want to put a dimensional too close to the edge of that. So you can, instead of putting it here, you can also just put it right there. And now I know I'm not going to get it in the wrong spot and have too much of a layer for mailing this. I'm just gonna go. Yeah, right there. Oops. I can already tell what I just did. I did not take the backing off of that, so we're just going to pull it off. We're going to do a little surgery. You're going to see me do a lot of surgery. I do crafting surgery. I'm sure that a lot of people do. Okay, and now I think I'm going to take these little baby flowers that are so cute. I really do love this bundle. It's there's lots of good bundles coming in the May to August catalog. But I'm really liking this one. I think I'm going to put this flower right up there. Pop another one up. I think I'll put it right, and tuck it in there a little bit, put it right there. This one, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to put it to the outside edge. And if you can't get your fingers in there, use the reversible tweezers and just kind of tuck it in and squish it down. So there's one thing that this happens too. I'm sure a lot of us do this. It's always a good idea to stamp your paper first, because if you stamp your sentiment on and it's not quite straight, well, you can always flip it over. But I have a finished project. I'm gonna stamp, and I'm gonna be really careful with stamping it, because now that it's finished, I don't want to redo this whole thing. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't go on straight, then I'm gonna do a die cut and stick it over top. Right? We always cover up our little boo-boos. They're happy mistakes. There are no mistakes, right? They're just and I'm just gonna put on Hello Friend right in the corner and just let it sit up. So one thing that I've noticed with the new ink colors that are on the magnetic pads, I've just done a little bit of stamping with one, not too much, but I've noticed, yeah, I smudged it. Of course I smudged it. I noticed that you need to hold it a little bit longer than you would with these, with the current pads. So I smudged it a little. It's okay. I may cover that up with something. I will probably, that's not quite going to do it. I'll think of something to cover it up. Like I said, I'll just put another sentiment down right over top of it. So for now, I could put a gem there too. These are the Moody palette. They come with the Lovely Blossoms suite, or you can buy them individually. Oh, I love these. I happen to get this one in the card retreat, the virtual card retreat, and I really like them, so I bought another one. Of course. I am thinking what colors that this is. Secret Sea Old Olive Cloud Cover, which is not quite that one, so maybe I'll just add a little more green. Kind of really like Old Olive. And put one in there. Ooh, I got something. There we go. Another one there, and think, where do I want to put it? Kind of thinking, yeah, over there. Right. So, from my understanding, it's everything in odd numbers, and you kind of want to do like a diagonal, like a diagonal shape, diamond shape. Aesthetically pleasing. And I just need to fix that. Now, this card, I would leave this normally. I wouldn't worry about what I'm going to put on the inside, because when you say hello friend, you can make it in any occasion card. In this case, I am actually going to stamp it. And I thought I would stamp it with Hope You Feel Your Best Soon. I thought that was a really cute one. But because it's so small, I thought it would be nice to change up the inside and do a smaller layer. So I'm going to back it with the blue that's on the front, a little bit more of a border, and a little bit more of a border again. So what measurements did I use? Let's see. This is, I suppose the other way around, 4.5 by 3 1/4. So this one then is, with that wider border, a 5 by 3.5. So I've got a wider border on the inside, another wider border. So this is what I meant by, I should probably stamp first, right? Because then if you make a mistake and it's not straight, you just flip over your paper. Pick it up. So if you have joined me for the live, or you're going to watch the replay, leave me a comment. Thank you so much, and share what you're working on. I'd love to see it, love to hear it. I'll try and be consistent with my card sharing. It almost looks like this stamp is a little bit crooked, so yeah, I did have to actually turn it just slightly to make it straight. So it's probably a good idea to always test your stamps. You know, you wanna make sure that they're conditioned the first time that you're using them. You can do that by stamp over and over and over. You can rub it with an eraser or your hand. Just want to take off that you want to take off that shine from the manufacturing. I'm just gonna clean that one. And put this away so I don't stick my finger in it, because I've done that too. Sure a lot of people have. I know, it's like if there's an open ink, you know, your thumb's got to go in it. And it's nice, these new ink pads, because they fully open. They don't flip flop or anything like that, like the current ones. They literally, the lids come apart, so it's less likely that we're going to stick our fingers in the ink pads. At least that's my theory. Oh, and look at that. See, I stamped it and it's the wrong way. It should be that way. So I'll be redoing that later because it's going the wrong way. I just flip that over and reuse this. I'll cut a new piece right now and we'll stamp it the right way. I knew I was going to like do something where I wasn't thinking right. What did I say? That was, I don't remember what I said now. What's the measurement? Is 4.5. by 3 1/4. And this time stamp it the right way. Okay, where's my stamp? Use my grid paper. Now I'm just rushed. Fixing mistakes. I make more mistakes. That's okay. It's homemade. It's okay. They don't need to be perfect, right? Well, I think I see a couple people watching, but no comments. That's okay. Or I just don't see them. That's it. A quick card. I think it's it looks like there's a lot of time and effort that goes into it. It's very clean, very simple. Doesn't use any designer series paper. It's just some paper. I've got some there. Really like I've got fluff on me. No, I can't. I sit down and then the dog pays attention to me. You know, he's all over me for like a couple of seconds, and then all of a sudden I'm covered again in fur. Brush myself off, and then he does it all over again. I have cute little dogs, though. I love them. There. So there's a quick and easy, simple card to put together, and I think that gives you a little bit of dimension, a new technique. Thanks for the Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter, for the inspiration for this card. And show you the other one. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. And here's one, and here's with the two of the new colors. Two of the new in colors. Peaceful Pine and Hydrangea Hue. I love that. One thing you'll notice if you're using it as a blend, that it looks more purple until it dries up, and then you see a color change. Yeah. Anyway, so thank you so much for joining me, and share what you're making. Thanks, and bye for now.